Hi, good people. Once again, my name is Rachel Jerry Wenena. I'm Mandela Washington Fellow 2014 alumni, and I'm on the road all around Kenya documenting beautiful YALI Fest stories. And what we're doing is trying to appreciate the impact that young African leaders have been making across the country, across the continent, and in the world. I've been taking you on this journey. I've taken you to Nairobi, I've taken you to Mombasa, I've taken you to Kisumu. I'm really back here talking. It's on the sidelines of Mombasa Road. I've come to a company that is very well known by most of us, that is Drop Access, guys. And what you didn't know, it's actually run by a YALI 2019 RLC alumna. And she's an amazing, impactful person, recognized by the President of the Republic of Kenya, recognized by other international organizations, and has been winning global attention and admiration. None other than Norah Magero. And thank you so much for having us. We are at Drop Access finally.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me.
I'm fine, thank you, Rachel. I hope
you're
well.
Yeah, we met like, I don't know, how many years were those? During the COVID-19 time?
Yes, yeah.
How have you been?
I'm very fine.
Hey, how's Drop Access and everything?
Well, we are growing steadily. I'm grateful for that, although there is much more work and responsibilities each and every single day. Grateful for it, and also learning the newness that is coming with the growth.
Wow. So thank you very much, and even just for giving us an opportunity. We're inspired by your story. Tumekuwa tukikuona kwa mtandao when you're like inspiring the world, and to be honest, that's a very, very good thing, to just be able to not only inspire Kenya and inspire the world, and that's the character of young African leaders. Starting with Norah, so because it's very important for people to know who Norah is.
Yes.
And so first I want you to introduce yourself and tell us who Norah is.
Sure. So my name is Norah Magero. I'm one of the founders and the CEO for Drop Access Limited. But really, I truly just deeply identify as somebody who wants to see a different Africa from what I see being posted in statistics and also what I just experienced myself. So I am a mechanical engineer by training, and I'm slowly shifting into an entrepreneurial engineer who develops innovations to try and see, or rather actualize, that Africa that I want to see differently. But then beyond that, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a friend and a sister. Yes. And generally, I really just love building stuff. So even from a very young age, I knew I would actually end up in a field where I'd be building stuff. What used to happen is my parents used to buy my brother toy cars with the police sirens, and I'll pull them apart to try to figure out like what's making that noise, or why is it moving. So I loved breaking and making stuff from a very young age. I used to be bought for dolls, some dolls that will cry, and I will actually try to figure out like what's making that noise. So I've always loved breaking and making things. And I think slowly that has just formed into my love for engineering, building technologies, but now combining it with technologies that actually help people.
Wow. And I just want to take you a little bit back, because you're telling me about your childhood. How was that like being Norah? How was being Norah in your primary school and secondary school, and where did you grow up actually?
Oh, sure. I grew up in Kisumu most of the time because I was born in Kisumu, and my parents were working in Kisumu. My mom was teaching in a school in Kisumu. My dad was working in a company, Kenya Sugar Authority then in Kisumu. And well, I grew up quite a naughty child. Yes, I grew up a bit troublesome. Mostly because I was the middle child, so I had my older siblings and my younger siblings. Then there was the third born of all five. And because nobody was paying so much attention to me, they were paying attention to my older siblings who had to be perfect and my younger siblings who were still young. So I did a lot of naughty stuff when growing up. But then I remember also while growing up, it was always a condition in my family, you have to excel in school. So I really, really did try to be excellent in school. And I think that also taught me a bit of being the best at something. I grew up in a very competitive household because my older sister is just like a year older than me. So we were more like twins, but then different kind of twins given different kinds of attention. And she was really, really, really good in school. So all I wanted was to be like her, to be number one, to be the top 3, you know, to be called at the front, to be given a gift. So if you've ever been to Kisumu is quite hot. It gets hot for the better part of the year. And the house that we lived in was a bit small. So it used to get hot inside the house also. And there's a time I actually built a fan for our room. I took the lid of Blue Band, the blue lid, then I cut it into a propeller, like with 3 propeller fans. Then I took a part from one of my brother's toy cars, a motor, and combined it with some wires and a battery, and I built a bedside fan. Because it used to be hot in the room, and we had a fan in the house, but it was mostly for my dad. And I remember when my parents found out that I'd actually built that thing and it was hanging over my bed, they were so furious. They first thought I was going to burn down the house or even cut myself. But then I was so excited because it worked. And I think during that period of childhood and discovering what I could really do, I really built a lot of stuff and played a lot with electrical gadgets, with mechanical gadgets that slowly just gave me a bit of interest of what I want to be in the future. So my dad really wanted me to become a doctor. He will even tell me that you're going to become a doctor when you go to university, then you'll come back home, I'll build for you a hospital so that you actually be able to treat our family members for free. So there is a very deeper reason as to why he used to say that, because also, as much as I used to live in Kisumu, most of the time, whenever the schools will close, we'll actually go to my rural place, Yugis, where actually my dad grew up. And healthcare is not that good even still till date. And even then, there used to be so many cases of people falling sick, something from malaria, then dying. So healthcare wasn't really such a very strong suit for Yugis. So my dad used to feel like there needs to be a doctor in the family who gets to save our people from dying from such little or just very silly infections. So that's why he thought that all through I was going to be a doctor. And I basically knew that I either had to become a doctor or something close to be a doctor. So maybe an engineer or a lawyer. And when I went through high school and finished high school, I didn't really pass so much in Kiswahili. If you know, so people come from Kiswahili, we're not really the best. People come from Kisumu, we're not the best when it comes to speaking Kiswahili. So I did put in my best, and I got a B+. That is like the highest grade I ever got in Kiswahili. But then because...
B+ is a bad grade.
Oh, it's a very good grade. I was proud of my B+.
Hey.
I know.
Wow.
Yes, but then to be, for medicine, you have to get pretty much everything. So I didn't really make the cut to be a doctor. And my dad was quite disappointed for a while. So I remember the VC for University of Nairobi, where I'd been called, was Professor Magero. And before I joined school, and I'd called to do engineering, my dad told me I needed to go to Nairobi and talk to Professor Magero and explain to him why you need to become a doctor. And maybe he'll actually let you go to School of Medicine. So I actually came to Nairobi with my sister and another friend of ours, and we didn't really get Professor Magero in the office like we thought we would. And I ended up becoming an engineer. But then I remember, and Rachel, when you remember in high school, when you had to select the courses that you're supposed to do, there were options. So you select like the first option, maybe medicine, like for myself. Then there's the second option, I think, and the third option, maybe even more options. Can I tell you the truth today that I selected medicine as number 1, but I selected engineering, all the other options. I will select mechanical engineering, mechatronic engineering, electrical engineering, or any other engineering. I never really actually look beyond any engineering. So when I didn't make it into School of Medicine, I actually went into mechanical engineering. So life happened exactly like it should have happened.
Wow. Yeah. So you like in school, in the early years, what was your favorite? Was it humanities or sciences?
I was a fan of everything, really. I was a jack of all trades. I used to love a lot of sciences, obviously because of the curiosity of building stuff. How does electricity work? If I press this, will I get it zapped or something? But also I loved humanities. I loved geography. I loved history. I really, really wanted to know so much of the history of Kenya. I was really fascinated by the things I used to read in history book of, I don't know, Jomo Kenyatta or any other prominent leader, and it used to fascinate me so much, like, so that is actually where I came from. And a very long time, I used to believe that because the first president was called Kenyatta, that's why Kenya was called Kenya, from Kenyatta. But then I later on just learned really how the origin of Kenya. So I loved everything across the board, whether it was geography, but I leaned towards sciences, that is just science generally, and later on physics and biology, because deep at the back of my head, I knew that my dad wanted me to become a doctor, so I had to learn biology and chemistry. I also love playing with chemicals, so I loved chemistry. But then I think deep down, I just really wanted to become an engineer. So the love for sciences and just drew me just closer to engineering.
Now let's come back when you were young.
Yes. Yes.
I want to know, like, when you tried to innovate things,
Yes.
did you get any encouragement from the community? How are you? Were you a naughty child in school because of all this curiosity? Were you part of science congress? Like, what are those small things that you can remember that you did in innovation? And I'm talking this because many people, like, they have talent, but when they try to show that talent, it's killed.
Yeah.
So I want to see whether you have some experience of some sort and how you maneuvered through that experience.
Yeah, sure. So when I was young and trying to innovate stuff and discover, I really faced a lot of challenges, Rachel. I won't lie to you that I got all the encouragement from the world, like, go for it, catch that thing up and figure out what's making that noise. No, I got into trouble a lot, and I grew up pretty much knowing that I was naughty because I was called naughty, and mostly because I used to build and break stuff and try to be innovative, but that was shunned upon a bit. So I know for sure my parents, especially my dad, encouraged me to go into sciences, but then it came to the reality of discovering and building stuff when I was very young. That was quite shunned upon. Then also the fact that I was a girl. It was always looked like, oh, it's so dangerous, don't do that, you're going to hurt yourself. Then also, are you sure, like, girls ordinarily don't do that? And not so many people really understood why I had the passion for it, and that's why I think also I was labeled a naughty child. I didn't really get so much of the support that looking back, I think I should have gotten, and maybe even the skills that I had built upon and encouraged to do so. So it will be, she's a strange girl. She does different things than what ordinary girls do. And also, maybe I should try to fit into what girls do, like the norm. And so around my nuclear family, they tolerated the things I did because, well, they have no choice in the family. But then outside the family, none of it was tolerated. Because also, I grew up in a very highly cultural society. Beyond my parents and my siblings, there's also my extended family. And things are really different for girls in my extended family. Because I will actually see, my cousins, when you get to a certain age, you kind of have to think of marriage, or have to think of possibly thinking the lines of what career path are best suited for women. Either you become a teacher, or you become a nurse, or you become something that is not ordinarily meant for girls. And also, not so many girls are encouraged to excel in sciences. So, or even to try and pursue that further. So when I did the things that I did at a young age, I didn't really get the full encouragement that I did. I remember when I first went to American Wing at University of Nairobi. American Wing is a famous part of the College of Engineering at University of Nairobi. I was so excited. Finally, I became among the people who always talk about American Wing.